Jared here, and we're back for another episode of Field Notes. Today we're going to take a look into the bagger systems on the John Deere X3 and X500 Series lawn and garden type tractors. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the 42-inch decks as well as the power flow units on a 48 and 54-inch deck. So, let's dive into it. First, we're going to look at the 42-inch deck, and we're going to take a look into the chute removal on the 42-inch deck. Then we'll move on to the 48 and 54-inch power flow units, as well as look into the back hopper system removal. On this 42-inch deck, you'll see that there is no power flow unit attached to it. It is not required for any 42-inch decks in the John Deere lineup. To take the chute off, it comes in a two-piece section. You will have your top part right here, as well as your bottom part right here. To remove the chute section on a 42-inch deck, you're going to first go to the bottom side down here. There's going to be a rubber strap, and you're going to unhook that. That's going to release this top part right here of the chute that you then can remove by moving it back and then off to the side and out in a simple motion like that. The bottom chute part is going to be removed down at the deck, and that's going to be kind of like a barn door latch. You're going to see that right down here. It's going to look like a silver rod sticking outside right here. Now, this is good to note that this procedure is good for the Excel deep decks on the new John Deere mowers. If you have an older bagger style, it will be a little bit different. Specifically, ones like the edge deck, they're going to use a rubber strap here as well as at the front up there. So for the Excel deep decks, like I said, what you're going to do is you're going to do it just like a barn door. You're going to push in and lift up on it. As you push in and lift up, that latch is going to come off, and then you can swing it on out like a gate. Once that chute is swung out, you can lift it off of its mounting pin right there, simply straight up, and the chute will be off. That will allow you to side discharge, or if you have a mulching kit, to put the mulching kit in and be able to use that mulching capability. Now, putting the chute back on is effectively the same steps, just in reverse. So what you're going to do is you're going to use that pin, put it in the mounting hole right there, and then you're going to swing it in like a barn door. Now, there is some points to note here. As you're swinging the unit in, or the chute in, you're going to have this little metal flap right here that you're going to have to raise up. This is going to have to go on the top side of the chute, and the plastic piece on the bottom side of the chute will have to go up and over this bottom bracket right here. So if we bring the chute in, you're going to see that I'm going to have to raise this up, and I'm also going to have to raise up the bottom part of the chute. So I'm going to lift up a little bit as I come in to get it up and over top of that metal piece. So up and over, and make sure that that metal flap stays on top of the chute up here. Once that's done, you'll be able to continue to push it in until it gets down where the latch is. Right at the latch, just give it a push in, down, and it will latch itself in place. The top chute, that's the easiest part. You're always going to insert the back side of the chute first, and then you're going to notice there is a cutout right here, and there is also a guide pin that's on the bottom of the chute, the lower chute part that we're going to use to line up and slide it into it. So you're going to take the top chute, put it in first, going to give it a wiggle. You're going to go down over top, line up your guide pin. It's going to slide down a little bit. When you're done that, you can then take your strap and hook your strap to it. Now the chute's on. So let's take a look at the 48-inch deck. All right, so we're next to the 48-inch deck with the power flow unit on it. Like I said, this power flow unit will be used for a 48, 54, as well as larger 60-inch decks on something like an X700 series. The hopper system is going to be different for an X700 series. We're not going over that today. We're just going to take a look at the power flow unit and the chute, and then we're going to look at the 2-bag and 3-bag systems on the X3s and X5 series installation removal of that. So on a 48-inch deck with a power flow unit, it is a belt drive system. So the power flow unit itself is driven by a double stack pulley that has a belt that as soon as you kick on that mower deck, it uses the same spindle as one of the mower blades. So we do have to remove that. So one of the tips that I have for you here is, number one, when you're taking this on and off, don't have the deck raised all the way up. If you do, you won't be able to get your hand in there to remove that top belt. Number two, don't have the deck all the way on the ground. If you do, the bottom side of the power flow is going to come in contact with the ground. It's going to make it very hard to remove it. Okay. So what I would do is I usually keep my settings somewhere around 2.5 inches, and I will drop the deck down to that 2.5 inch mark. That gives me enough clearance to get my hand in there, get the belt off, but also swing it without the bottom of the power flow catching the ground. Okay. First step we're going to do here is going to be the chute part. The chute is going to have a retaining strap. It is a one-piece chute. The retaining strap is going to be down here that you're going to have to remove. Once that is removed, just like the other system over there, you're just going to give it a pull backwards and off to the side. When it's off to the side, you can then just kind of pull this main top chute right out. The power flow unit itself, like I said, is a belt drive system. So you will have your tensioner for that belt drive system located right here on the right-hand side of the power flow. You do need to release that tension in order to take the belt off and to be able to remove the power flow. And how that's done is it's done simply by pulling back off to the side and then letting it go straight forward. That releases the tension on the belt. Now, if you look right here, this is going to be your belt cover. Your belt cover can be flipped up and it's spring-loaded to come back. Different models, older generations have different styles. Effectively, they are all the same though. You're going to pull that forward, lift up on it. You're going to take your hand, get it underneath. This is your power flow belt right here. And you have your double stack pulley. You have your top pulley that runs the power flow. You're going to need to take this belt off of that top pulley just like that. When that's done, you can let your cover go back down. And then what you're going to do with the power flow unit itself is you're going to then again swing it out like a barn door, just like we did on the other chute there on the 42-inch deck. And it's going to come straight away. So what that's going to do is, if I just pull it out, it's going to pull straight out, and it's going to come off to the side. Now this power flow unit does come off in two different pieces. You will have your main power flow unit right here. And then you will also have your mounting bracket that comes off as well. I like to call this like the S-hook. Keep in mind, when you put this away for the winter or when you're taking it off, make sure you keep this with the power flow unit itself. It's not necessarily the cheapest part, and it can be lost pretty easy because it's not that big. It can fall behind something. So just, give it a zip tie, keep it with it if you plan on putting that away for a long time. Now, putting the unit back on, same procedure. What I would recommend, putting the deck at 2.5 inches, dropping the deck down to that 2.5 inches to give you that clearance. With the bracket here, there is a longer side and a shorter side. Make sure that when you put this onto the unit, that the shorter side goes on the deck itself. The longer side is what the power flow will use. If you have this reversed and you try to mount it with the shorter side with the power flow, when you go to close it on, it's not going to line up correctly. So you want to make sure longer side with the power flow, shorter side with the deck. So what we're going to do first is install this. Simply put that down inside the mounting bracket there, and you're going to take your power flow and you're just going to drop it right onto that mounting. Give it a little wiggle to get it down until it sits flush. Once that's done, we're then going to swing the power flow into the deck. Now we want the outer plastic piece right here to be on the outside of the deck. We don't want to try to cram this into this part. We want this part to be on the outside. So when I bring that in, I'm going to keep the plastic part on the outside. Make sure that your belt goes through the popper cutout right there. And then you do have yourself a guide pin and a hole in the deck. What you're going to do then is you're just going to keep pulling it forward, kind of line that up. Make sure, like I said, outside of the deck. Then you're going to push it in. Okay. Last step you're going to do is you're going to put the belt back on, and that's simply just going to be flipping your cover open, taking your belt, making sure that the belt is not twisted. You're going to make sure that it's put on correctly, so you're just going to take the belt, you're going to slide it in to the pulley, and make sure it goes around that top pulley that's inside there. I usually like to hold this up and pull the tension back. So here's your tensioner. We need to put the tension back on that. We're going to pull that up, and I like to hold it there just to make sure that everything lines up correctly. And then what you can do is you can let the cover go. The power flow is now securely attached. It's ready to go. The chute part is easy. It's going to be just like the other one. You're going to put the back side in first, and then you're going to put this over the discharge area of the power flow. So you're going to take this end first, push that all the way up inside. Gives you plenty of room to be able to get it over top of the discharge part of the power flow. You're going to hold open that flap, and you'll see right here, there's a little cutout of where the power flow chute can slide down into. So we're going to pull it down, make sure it goes over the discharge area, right in this little area right here, and just kind of give it a push down. Okay? That's going to put it in the proper position. You're going to take your latch, you're going to put your latch in, flip it up, lock it in place. That takes care of the install and removal of the power flow unit as well as the power flow chute. Now what we're going to do real quick is we're going to take a quick walk around the back side. We're going to talk about the bag removal, or I should say the material collection system removal. I only have a 2-bag system set up here today. I don't have a 3-bag system, but we're going to take a quick look at that just so you get an understanding of once the power flow unit and once the power flow chute is off, how to take the back hopper system off if you did want to. I have a lot of customers who just end up leaving that on year round, but if you did want to take it off, you can. So around the back side here, once you open the lid, you can remove the bags. It allows you to get easier access to the back area. On a 2-bag system, it works on a 2-pin system. You have a top pin right here, as well as a bottom pin underneath here. So on a 2-bag system, you can easily remove this top pin by pulling out your cotter pin and sliding that out, as well as what's on the bottom, pulling that out, and there's another pin at the bottom. Once those two are out, you can lift this whole system up and out of this bracket. On a 3-bag system, it is designed differently. The mounting system is going to look almost completely different from what this is. Like I said, I don't have one set up here today, but that will use a latch system. That latch is on the 2 pins. You'll have a main rod that comes down like this. You'll have 2 latches that you will have to unlatch, and then you do have a middle latch too that clamps onto the back bracket here that you'll have to release in order to lift that material collection system off. Like I said, I apologize, I don't have one of the 3-bag systems here today, only the 2-bag systems, but that will at least give you an idea, the back hopper system, how to take that on and off. So that's going to conclude our tutorial here today of the installation and removal of the bagger systems on the John Deere 42-inch as well as the 48 and 54-inch power flow models. Please keep in mind, if you have an older model, the procedure is going to be very similar to what we did today. However, there will be differences. So as always, please refer to your owner's manual for your specific equipment and the specific procedure of taking the bagger systems on and off. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found this information useful. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe to our channel. We're going to be putting out some more tips and tricks for your equipment needs here at Deere Country Farm and Lawn.